Come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant, come.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shalane, and in today's video we're going to make the cutest Christmas craft with a Christmas box and some sealant to make some fake snow. Now I do want to create a crackle effect on this board, and you can use a piece of board at Lowe's. They have pre-cut boards, but I'm all about repurposing, so I had a picture frame, and this was just the back of it. It already has the tabs on it, so I'm going to use this so I can just hang it up. Now, when you create a crackle effect, I'm going to use, you can buy crackle paint from Hobby Lobby, but I'm going to use Elmer's glue. I did do 3 test boards to see which style I liked. This board and this board were diluted Elmer's glue. I added water to it. This one I did not add water to it. We are going to go ahead and go with this board. I do like the bigger crackles in this one, but for simplicity reasons, I'm going to go ahead and use this one because when you dilute the Elmer's glue with water, it does spread better. So I'm going to go ahead and add a darker base coat. Then we are going to add the diluted Elmer's glue. We're going to wait till that gets a little bit tacky, and then we are going to add our white chalk paint on top. That way you see the darker color underneath, and you can use whatever colors you want to use. So I didn't have gray, so I just mixed black and white to give me a darker gray. So I am going to apply probably 2 coats over this whole entire board. I will use a heat gun to allow it to dry faster, but when it comes to us applying the Elmer's glue, I'm going to let that naturally dry itself to not affect the crackles.
Flesh appearing, come let us adore him. Come let us adore him. Come let us adore him. Christ the Lord.
Alright, so we have our 2 coats of our matte paints. Again, I wanted dark gray, but I didn't have it, so I just mixed matte white and matte black together, which gave me the color that I wanted. So I have a bowl of white, which is going to be my top coat. And then what I did is I took regular school Elmer's glue and I put some in a bowl, and I just slowly added water to it until I got more of a syrup mixture. You don't have to mix water with it, but it does make it a little bit harder to spread on, really on a large surface, if you do not put water in it. So I went ahead and put water in mine. It doesn't create as big as cracks, but it still looks pretty, so I went ahead and did that. So what I'm going to do is, when you do your Elmer's glue, try to create long strokes. On the top, I will do small ones, and on the bottom, that way it doesn't seep over, and then I will try to go as fast as I can and cover the whole entire board because the Elmer's glue does dry fairly quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the glue in long strokes as you can. Once you stop your stroke, that's usually where the cracks start to begin. So if you block it, then that's what it kind of looks like. So I'm just going to take my glue and I'm going to add it to the top.
In the highest, come let us adore him. Come let us adore him. Come let us adore him.
Now we have our, as even as we can, layer of the Elmer's glue on the board. I'm going to let it sit here for probably 3 to 5 minutes, not letting it to fully dry, but allowing it to get a little bit tacky. That way it makes it a little bit more easier to place the white paint on top. All right, So we have the top coat done. It has been sitting for about 4 minutes. As you can see, the glue starts separating a little bit. So now I'm going to take my white paint, and in the same manner that we put the Elmer's glue, I am going to place the white paint over it, and I will try to work as fast as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and apply at the top just a little bit, and then work my way down, creating longer strokes. All right, so we have our top coat over. I'm going to now let it completely dry. I'm not going to use the heat gun on it. I'm going to let it sit here. I will fast forward the video a little bit. That way you can see the crackling happen as it dries.
Born the King of angels, come let us adore him. Come let us adore him. Come let us.
All right, so the part of our board is done. The crackling turned out really good. I like that there's big crackling, small crackling. So now that that is done, we have let it fully dry. I am going to set this aside. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our Christmas box that we got, and that's what it is. I got it from Walmart, and it's just one of the boxes that you can put gifts in so you don't have to wrap anything. And I want the image. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take our Merry Christmas image, and this image I just created in Canva, and I will have the link to that down below if you wanted to print it out. Now, what I am going to do is I am going to tear this box, and when I tear it, I want to tear it as close to the Santa image as I can. I want to take out this tree in the back part, and I'm going to make it not so uniform. And when I do tear it, why I like using this, the cardboard, because if you tear it and you're careful, you will have left the part of the board where I'm going to add some distressing to and make it look really pretty. So in order for me to do that with our Merry Christmas, I am going to have to Mod Podge this image onto this, the back of, my apologies guys, can't talk today, the back of the box. So I'm just going to take some Mod Podge, I'm going to add a thin layer, I'm going to put it on there, and I am going to allow it to dry. And then we will start tearing it apart and making it look like what we want it to look like. Okay, so I didn't put it on there all the way to the edges because, again, I am going to do this image just like the Santa one, and I'm going to tear around the image. So I just make sure it's secured as much as possible where the image is at. We're going to set this aside and let this fully dry. So we're going to bring back our Santa image, and what I want to do is I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to go around just to get this edge off. Okay, so now all we have is the image. So what I'm going to come, and I'm going to do this slowly. That way I can control how much I'm pulling off. And when I do pull, I want to be left around that image with the cardboard part of the box, and I will do this around the whole entire Santa, and I will do the same exact thing around the Merry Christmas image.
Come let us adore him. Come let us adore him. Come let us adore.
Okay, so now that we have both of our images out, they are torn apart. Don't drop your ink on your image. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some distressed Oxide, and I am going to put it on a little pad. These little pads you can get for them, but a Q-tip works just as fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come around these edges that we torn, and I am going to apply this ink around this edges, giving it kind of a rustic burnt look, like it's worn out, not so new. And I'm going to do this around both the images before we apply them to the crackle board that we created already.
Let us adore him, Christ the Lord.
Alright, so we have that. Now, one thing I'm going to do is on this paper, I want these letters to stick out, so I'm just going to take a black marker. You could use this is a calligraphy marker that I had. You could use a regular black marker, and I'm just going to go over this Merry Christmas just to make it stand out a little bit more.
Come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold.
Alright, so I have darkened up my Merry Christmas. Now what we are going to do, because I want these images elevated from the board that we crackled, so I grabbed some building blocks that I just grabbed from the Dollar Tree. What I'm going to do is I am going to place these on the back of my image before we put them on the board. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to take some hot glue for temporary hold. And really, you don't have to do this step for the actual cardboard part, because the hot glue will stay on the cardboard. But I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to take some E6000, and I'm going to hold it on there and allow that to dry. So E6000 for permanent hold, hot glue for temporary hold. And I'm going to place these all around both images before I put them on the board.
Come let us adore him, Christ the Lord.
Alright, so now that we have our blocks on the back of our images, I am going to bring back our board. So, one thing that I would do, or the weight of them might fall off, is I would take something sharp and I would score the back of these blocks. That way the glue has something to adhere to. This side I'm not worried about because it does have all those cracks in it, but this part is so smooth, it might pop off. Just be careful when you do this. Don't cut yourself. Alright, so once you have scored the back of your blocks, now you want to find out where you want to place your images at. Now I am going to place some sealant on the very top to mimic snow. You won't be able to see it much against the white background, but I'm going to place glitter on it so you'll be able to see it when the light hits it. So we want to make sure before we glue anything that we leave enough room for that. So I'm going to turn it to its side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it directly on the bottom. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to apply the E6000, then the hot glue. When we're completely done with the whole project, make sure you keep it flat so the E6000 has time to cure.
Come let us adore him, cry.
All right, so now our image is on there. How stinking cute is that? It comes up off the board. All right, so now we are going to go ahead and add all the embellishments and all the pretty stuff. So what I think I'm going to go ahead and do first is I am going to add our fake snow at the very top of our board, and then I think I'm going to add some on the Merry Christmas sign, on Santa's shoulder, just random places. And what I'm going to use is I'm going to use some white sealant. This is just what I had in my garage. It doesn't have to be super expensive. I got this at Lowe's. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place it on with a popsicle stick, a skewer to give it some design. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it and it just put it on, and I just glob it on pretty good, and I just move it around, give it peaks. To make it look like snow, bring it down a little bit on some of the spots, and just build up on it until you get the desired look that you want.
The Father, now in flesh appearing, come let us adore him, come let us adore him, come let us adore him, cry.
All right, once you have the amount that you want on it, I'm going to go ahead and take some glitter, and I have learned to try not to control the glitter because it's going to get everywhere anyways. So what I'm going to do is, before this dries, I'm going to sprinkle glitter on it. That way I don't have to worry about putting anything else on it. So I'm going to sprinkle some gray or some silver, some white glitter, all over everywhere that we put the white sealant on. All right, I'm gonna let that set on there for a minute before I dust it off, and we will work on the rest. All right, so now that we have that done, we have the snow, we have the glitter. Now I'm going to come in and we're going to put some little snowflakes. I am not going to paint them. I think the wood look of these snowflakes will look super cute. We're going to take these little rhinestones that I got from Hobby Lobby. They were a bag of red, green, and clear rhinestones, and I'm going to hot glue those directly in the center of these rhinestones, and we are then going to place them sporadically around the board.
Sing, all ye citizens of heaven above.
All right, now we have the snowflakes on there. We are going to go ahead and take this little pick that I got from Walmart. It was like 97 cents. The pine cone did not come with the pick. It came from a garland that I cut off. I just wrapped it around to give it a little bit more. And what I'm going to do is, where his hand is holding the tree, I'm going to go ahead and place that, or hot glue that right there. I would have handmade a bow myself if I didn't have these already, but it was just easier for me to grab this. All right, so the last and final touches. I have some of these more decorative snowflakes And I think I'm going to go ahead.
Let us adore him.
I think I'm going to go ahead and take a couple different shapes, the more thinner ones, and put them more sporadic. So this is how it looks so far. I really enjoy it. I love the way this looks. I do it with Santas and snowmen. Snowmen are super fun to make because you can make those more colorful, more whimsical, more playful. The Santa ones I make more elegant. So the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pointy end of a skewer, and I want to add a little bit of this sealant to some of these snowflakes. But if you use anything too big, then you start losing the shape of the snowflake. That's why something sharp, a toothpick, something sharp works best. All right, so we are done. The only thing I did do off camera is I took a white paint pen and I kind of just added little lines in the Merry Christmas just to give it a little bit more of a pop. I really enjoyed this craft. I hope y'all enjoyed it and I hope y'all liked it. If y'all did enjoy the craft, if you could just please like the video, it does help me out a lot and I really appreciate all y'all's support. This one was really fun to make, and the great thing about this one is you can use so much. For example, look how cute this Christmas gift bag is. You could completely take out the snowman and make one of these, make it whimsical and fun, and I might have to come back and do this one just to show y'all what we could do with it. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all next week.